Bismillah. We'll continue with Sarf lil-Mubtadi'in, Sarf for the beginners, where we'll go into the Awzan al-Mudari', the present tense verbs for the Khumasi. So today, firstly, we'll take some qawaid pertaining to the Khumasi, and we'll also take the Sudasi, as it is there's only one scale for the Sudasi, as we mentioned. And inshallah we'll try to complete this bab today. We originally were going to study a bit of Nahu, but today there will be no Nahu. We'll stick to Sarf. So next week, if we have time, we can do grammar alongside the Amr. So after we finish this one, we're going to go into the Amr. What was the Amr? Commands. So we're on page 28, Al-Qa'idah. The first one should be clear to us. أولاً تكون أحرف المضارع مضارعة في الخماسي مفتوحة. What is the meaning of that? By now you should be able to translate this or understand yourself. What is the meaning? تكون أحرف المضارعة. What is حرف المضارع? And what are those letters? An 8. في الخماسي مفتوحة. Open. What does that mean when we say that it's open? It means takes a fatha. And what ones don't take a fatha? What scale that doesn't take a fatha? What is the scale that doesn't take a fatha on the harf al-mudari'? The 4 letters. Have you not forgotten already? The ya, yes, harf an-8. Any of the letters of an-8 will take a dhamma in the ruba'i. You remember this? You have to remember this. Second point, ثانية تحذف همزة الوصل إذا كان الفعل مبدوءا بها. The hamzatul wasl is dropped if the verb starts with it. ويكسر الحرف الذي قبل الأخير, and the letter before the last will take a kasra. Okay, so the hamzatul wasl is dropped in the khumasi if it starts with a hamzatul wasl. You all know what hamzatul wasl is? Yeah. And it has a kasra, or the last letter, the second last letter will take a kasra. So if we were to look at the scales 1, 2 and 3, in fa'ala, ifta'ala, if'alla, they all begin with a hamzatul wasl. He said that they are all dropped if the verb starts with them. So only the first 3 start with a hamzatul wasl, and the second 3 start with a ta. So these rules is only for the first 3. In fa'ala, ifta'ala, if'alla. And then second point he mentioned that the second last letter will take a kasra. So in fa'ala, the ain will take a kasra. Yanfa'ilu. In fa'ala, yanfa'ilu. We've dropped the hamzatul wasl, we brought an 8. And we made the second last letter a kasra. Ifta'ala becomes yafta'ilu. If'alla becomes yaf'allu. That is for the first 3. And then the third one, يفتح ما قبل الأخير إذا كان مبدوءا بالتاء. So the second 3, so 4, 5 and 6, they begin with a ta. He said that the second last letter will take a fatha. So you have tafa'ala, yatafa'alu. It's not yatafa'ilu, yatafa'alu. Tafa'ala has become yatafa'alu. Tafa'lala becomes yatafa'lalu. So 1, 2 and 3, The second last letter takes a kasra, 4, 5, and 6. The second last letter takes a fatha.
It is يفعل. Isn't it supposed to be يفعل?
No, in the bracket it says asluhu. You know, in the brackets. Yes. In the brackets.
Why is this one different?
This one has to be explained properly with the board.
Okay.
I'll come back to it.
No problem.
Yeah. So it was changed for a reason. Inshallah, in the future lessons we'll explain as to why yaf'ilu becomes yaf'allu.
Could you repeat the first ayah?
أولا
Yeah.
أولا is that the حرف المضارع will take a fatha.
So the starting.
It's the same as when we first did the mudari. We said 3, 5, and 6. The harf al will take a fatha. As long as you remember only the mudari will take a dhamma. Are we all together?
Repeat the Hamzatul Wasl. Why is it dropped?
The Hamzatul Wasl is dropped in 1, 2, and 3 because it is not needed. In the past, if you look at infa'ala, are you able to pronounce infa'ala without the Hamzatul Wasl? Why is that? Because it starts with a sukoon. So it is not needed in the mudari'. That is why we drop it. In fa'ala, because the harf innate now has a haraka on it, yanfa'ilu. It's dropped. So now if you look at the tasrif, the conjugation for the first one, in fa'ala becomes yanfa'ilu. So you remember as in fa'ala yanfa'ilu. In fa'ala yanfa'ilu. As we normally do, we'll conjugate together and we'll take it in turns. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we could all take one scale each. We'll start from the right. Everyone will do one scale each, and the rest of us will follow along. So we have in fa'ala yanfa'ilu. What's the first verb in the under the table? In za'aja. In za'aja. Go ahead. Yeah, conjugate. Okay, so the next one, ifta'ala yafta'ilu. Ifta'ala yafta'ilu. So what's the first verb that he's given us? Sarf. Go on, Abdul Hakim.
Istafara.
Is
Istafara. Is that the one?
tata.
Oh, istatara.
Istatara. Okay, so conjugate that for us. 3 letters. So by now you've probably noticed how you're using the scales compared to the first lesson. You're just following these patterns, and each box by now you should know who is being addressed or who is addressing. Yeah. So?
Third person, third, second.
Yes, but by now you should know the pattern and who is the one doing the action and who the fa'il is as well. So the next one, I think you got a hard on him. If'alla. Yaf'allu. So here we have a scale that are used for colors. Ibyadda, to turn white. So when you're ready. Ibyadda, what does the mudari' become? You're the next one. Yep. Yaddu. The fourth scale, تفعل يتفعل, was not recorded in the audio. However, you should pause the video and conjugate by yourself. So فاعل, past tense, يتفاعل is a present tense. Is that easy? Is that واضح so far? Okay. I'm going to give someone a task. What is the meaning of تدارس? تدارس. You can search for us the meaning of تدارس. Firstly, because you conjugated, what's the root words or the root letters? درس. So then it's going to be related to perhaps teaching, studying. The darasa is the root darasa. Darasa. Anyone on Zoom, whoever wants to, the first person to find it. It's not to teach.
Lesson.
It's not a lesson.
No. Examination.
It's not examination.
I don't know.
Who can find the meaning? It's something to do with learning.
To study, to learn,
To study is related to studying.
to educate.
Look, right now I searched it. I got the translation straight away.
Learner, researcher. Hang on.
It's not to study. If you've got iPhone, as I mentioned, it's much easier. Because you have to, darasa is to teach, to learn. Darasa. No. Okay, we got one person who might have got close. To teach one another is close. It's something to do.
To study together.
To study together. Yes. Did you search it?
No, I just guessed it.
Okay. If you search the word as it is, tadarasa, it means to study together. It doesn't. Huh? No, this is the verb. Just to natadarasu.
So we studied
Yeah.
in a group.
Mm.
So نتدارس في المسجد.
Yes, that's a good one.
So about أتدارس. So I studied in a masjid.
I don't think it does use like that.
So it can't be used on that skill. On the أنا.
In the next one we have تفعلل. تفعلل. What's the مضارع? يتفعلل. يتفعلل. Sorry. يتفعلل. So try the first one. And also, next week I want to go into جملة فعلية, which is, what's the جملة الفعلية? You can translate.
Action.
Verbal sentence.
Yeah.
We have two types of sentences. We have جملة الاسمية, جملة الفعلية. If we study جملة الفعلية and we understand it, then we can use examples for these scales, as the brother mentioned, to give examples. But if you don't understand جملة الفعلية and the structure of it, these examples will fly over your head. وزن المضارع السداسي. We're going to take the 6-letter scale, and there's only one. Why is there only one? He remembers the reason that the author mentioned. He only brings one.
It's hard and we don't need it.
Yes, he said he gave you this scale due to its popular use, firstly, and secondly, he said just to make it easier for the beginner, he just gave one scale. So the first one, أولاً, he's going to give 3 points again. أولاً, first point. تحذف همزة الوصل من الفعل. تحذف, by the way, that is going to come in a different chapter. تحذف. The meaning of تحذف. So he said that the hamzatul wasl is dropped from the verb. So if you look at istaf'ala, that was the past tense. Istaf'ala, the hamzatul wasl is dropped. We get yastaf'ilu.
It's dropped from every.
Yes, the scale. Whatever happens to the scale will happen to every verb that is on that scale.
So you know the rules for every scale.
Yes. So right now, everything that these 3 points will happen to every verb that is on that scale.
So it's the seventh scale, right?
This is, it's the 7th, but it's the 6th, only one. It's the 7th scale that we've taken today, but don't put them together, do it separately. For each number, do it separate. So for the Sudasi, this is just the only scale we're going to take. It's a 6-letter scale. Istaf'ala, yastaf'ilu. What's the first point we mentioned? Hamzatul wasl is dropped from the verb. ثانيا تفتح أحرف المضارعة في السداسي. The حرف المضارع yes the innate can take a فتحة. But we know that already, right? We mentioned that as the beginning of the مضارع. Is that written? Third one يكسر الحرف الذي قبل الأخير. You can probably translate this one yourself.
The letter before the last.
The letter before the last?
Is
Yes. It's going to take a kasra.
One letter before the last one take a kasra.
So basically the ayn. The ayn.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's non-conjugate? Have you all? You've all done, right? Okay. For this one, I'm going to give you a verb that is not in the book, but is used. Very popular.
What was the second point again?
The second point is حرف المضارعة. Remember that we mentioned for everyone. Can take فتحة. Okay, so now I'm going to give him, you're going to do it. I'm going to give him a verb. It's not in the book though. Hold up. So sorry. So استغفر, the root is, you mentioned, غفر. غفر. The increase is ista. Okay, so غفر firstly, the meaning is? To forgive. And then when we put on this scale, we took it previously. Yes. استغفر is to ask for forgiveness. استغفر. Now the present tense is going to be يستغفر. Yes. يستغفر. يستغفر. So now you're going to attempt to conjugate that. يستغفر. And what do we say at the end of a majlis? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفر وأتوب إليك.